Yeah, that's all good.
So how's everybody doing? Welcome. I think I had something for this week. Yeah, so this is kind of a self-created problem that I'm about to go into. But yeah, let me share my screen and we can
Sounds
take a
like
look at
something
this.
I would do.
Yeah, kind of. Um, I just So I see this way to fix your model like a lot, right? Like everybody would say, if we had this model here and it looked like this, and we had kind of a hole in there. Let me turn off that hole. So I want to machine this, and I want to kind of ignore this hole, right? Obviously, if we just create a toolpath here and we hit OK, but we use the right model because I have it substituted. We use this model. We're gonna get something that's kind of dirty, and I guess I'm cutting to the chase here because that's what I wanted to show. But we're kind of going through this whole we're cutting we're cutting a lot of this here. So we would want to cover this up, right? I mean, ideally, we wouldn't have that hole diving down in there, right, Angela?
No, we would definitely not want that.
What would happen if it dived down in there? It would just snap, right?
Well, if it hasn't been drilled out and you're using a ball end mill, yeah.
I mean, yeah, as long unless it's like machining wax, you're pretty much breaking your
Toast.
tool when this happens. So
Yeah, you're
we're
toast.
gonna fix this. Now, obviously, this is a hole I created, so we're all just gonna have to pretend and go along for the ride. But one of the things I want to show is most of the time, what would we do? We'd go in and patch this, right? So we'd go
Yep.
in, we'd create a patch body, and then in our operation, what we would do is we would pick that body, right? Now, in this case, my setup model happens to be something else, but we're using both the body and the patch here. We can see that. So what happens though, when we create this toolpath, I want to focus in on this area. When we create this toolpath and we make this patch, the reason I don't like to do this is because depending on the surface continuity here and how this is machined, depending on what surface goes here, maybe you're doing an edge break or something like that. But let's take a look at these points. And I'm going to click on this. You can see there's a lot of points that are being put around this area here. Right? If we zoom out a little bit, we can kind of see that, right? You see how there's a lot of points that are focused on there. So even if this was a straight line or smooth in that case, we're going to be giving and feeding the toolpath those points that are there. So we may slow the machine down or speed the machine up, depending on how many of those points and how dense this area is. So if we were to machine this, and let's say we needed a version of this without the hole, you would see kind of the ghosting of the hole here with this solution. Does that make sense, everybody?
Oh yeah.
Hopefully,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So obviously, I'm just going to go, back in time here and get rid of the hole that I created here, and we have a bunch of toolpaths that obviously go over this. So my preferred method to do this is going to be just going into the design there and removing the hole, right? Creating a substitute body. So if this was the body that I was working on, what I would end up doing is I would copy this body and I would paste it in here and hit OK. And is this going to unfix itself? Probably not because of that thing. Kind of. But in most cases, when you delete that, it's going to clearly, get rid of that area, right? Depending on where it falls and if it can rebuild the model. Sometimes it's going to be tricky if the hole overlaps like a fillet or something like that. Then we may have to do like a wound and heal, which we may have to find a good model for that and show that in a little bit here, or maybe on another session. But I like to clean up this model and use a whole separate body that has all the holes removed. Hopefully that makes sense for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like Devin's way of manufacturing model instead of the Fusion way of manufacturing model. I actually prefer your flow better.
Yeah, I just think it produces a little bit cleaner of a result there. Let me see if I got something. Okay, like here's a good part. Not a good 3D machine part, but a good part that we can use, this tool on. So if we go into design here and we have the timeline turned on, under modify, you can just take this body and copy it. I'm not going to do that, but we can just pretend. But copy it, paste another one in there. If it's a component here, you do want to be careful of copying it. When you go to paste it, we do want a new version of that model. So we're going to paste a new one. Actually, let me just show this. I'm going to turn the first one off. It's green. I'm going to hit A on my keyboard. and I'm going to physically turn that one a different color, right? So we have the copied body down here, and we have this body, this green up here. So we did a paste new when we did that. So this one here is separate. I'm going to go to modify, simplify, remove features, and I can select all, but usually I turn this off and I just try to focus on what I'm trying to work on, and I'm going to click on holes. So you see it identified all those holes on the model here, and I can drag this slider bigger or smaller to get rid of some of them or get some more of them, like this big hole there. Hit the delete key, and look at that. Cleaned up that model. You can also in here, which little known fact, you can go here to manual features. You can click on something like this or one of these faces, and it'll actually grab the rest of the faces for that feature. So we can hit delete on that, come over here and hit delete on that, because maybe I need a version of these without those little bosses. And instead of clicking on these surfaces and trying to delete them, I can just click on that and gather the whole feature there, right? So see how here we have multiple faces. I can click on that and hit delete, and it will just remove that.
Yeah, being able to just click on one and it grabs the whole geometry for that open slot or open pocket. It's really cool in those bosses, so you don't have to zoom in and click each one. Big time saver.
It really can be quite useful. The other thing, Rob Lockwood taught me this actually. The other thing is a lot of times I'll try to window select on the part, but what you can't do is actually, if I just want to get rid of these windows, and let me see, are these bigger on the other side? No. You can't start or drag a window on the part, right? So I can't drag from right here. See how I'm moving the model? Maybe put it back. What you can do, however, is go to select, turn off component drag, and when you turn that off, it will allow you to create a window wherever your mouse is. So now I can window select like this and gather whatever faces I need, and I can hit delete. I think it's gonna delete it, and then it cleaned all those holes up. So now if I want to go do my adaptive, I can do my adaptive and not, worry about any of these regions, right? Because I don't want to machine any of those spots. Right?
That's
So
a really good tip.
Really simplified this model down quite a bit to do our machining. So,
and even I didn't know about the drag component. Jeez.
Component drag, yeah, that's slick.
Turning it off is really useful. Another thing, so this happens from time to time. This 1, 2, or 3. This is actually how you switch the mode. So I don't know if you've ever typed in like 2 by accident, and then you've been here and you've been like, what is this? It's because you're from
customers, yeah.
Right. So 1 is box selection, and you got to click that. Then you'll have a box. Now, obviously, let me show a couple tips with this. If you have a box here, if you drag it from left to right, anything that's fully encompassed inside of that box will be selected. If you drag from right to left, however, anything that touches that box on the dotted outline there will be selected. Now here you can see it selected kind of the whole thing, so that's pretty messy. But what you can also do is go up here to selection priority, and you can say select face priority. That will modify this menu here to have the selections that you want. So I can say select face priority, and now if we look at that menu, it modified that menu to only select body faces. And if I drag left to right here and let go, you see it's only going to pick those faces that I have touched there. And if I drag from right to left here, only the ones that are fully encompassed within that window will be selected. So it can really help there with selections. I primarily only use this box selection, but this freeform selection can be very valuable for picking certain things or trimming out certain stuff. Like if I just wanted to get rid of this, obviously that's a pretty easy selection. But if I had something internal where like I don't want to get that, or a shape that was not a square like this, because obviously the rectangle tool would work, the window tool would work for that. This freeform tool, you can come here and you kind of drag around the item that you want. As long as we get the selection we need there, it will be selected. We can hit delete, get rid of that. So hopefully that helps. That's your 3D tips for this week.
Man, that was a ton of info. That was a ton of info in like the past 8 minutes.
Let me get my beautiful PowerMill speaker pulled back up. I do like
That's
this
a great model.
I think it's really nice. I don't know. I couldn't tell. I couldn't pinpoint what I like about it. I think some of it's actually not that great, but
I think it's because it looks like a face.
Oh, like this way?
Yeah, it looks like a face.
I've never
Oh,
looked at
you
it,
got-
but that's weird.
It's you.
Now I can unsee that now.
Yeah, I can't see it now. It's probably not my favorite model anymore. Because I don't like its expression now. All right, I just look at it like this, but now I see the face. You really just ruined it for me, to be honest. I can't believe you said that.
There's some chamfers on
I
those.
can't believe it took you that long to see it.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I ever saw.
If we go into a toolpath, like let's say I'm going to do a flow toolpath and I want to do a, some other toolpath and I want to reuse some surfaces. Obviously we have create derive where we can, create a derive operation, which will use and grab those selections. But if we're going to make multiple selections a bunch of times, you can make what's called a selection set, right? So if I know I'm going to be going in here and let's say there's more surfaces than this, I can hold control and click on these faces here. And I can right click, I think anywhere, and say create selection set. That will put a selection set up here. And a selection set has a couple different things you can do. You can select the selection set, right? So see, now I clicked off the screen, but if I'm like, man, I want to click all those again, you can click on this button select and it will pick those, right? So it'll input those into a toolpath or whatever. Let's say I also want to add this face. What I can do is hold control and I can go over to this selection button and there's another one to the left or to the right. It says update. I can click update. And now when I go here and I click this selection set, it will grab all of those. So if I go to, let's say flow, for example, and go to my geometry, instead of picking those all individually, which might be 17 surfaces that I'm going to pick in 3 or 4 toolpaths, which obviously I can still use the contour selection or whatever geometry selection to link those into other toolpaths, but maybe that's a tip for another time. You can come right here and pick this selection button, and it will just grab all 5 of those faces and put them in there. You can do this with edges, with faces, with whatever, and add them to a toolpath. So now we can hit OK. And we're not super concerned with whatever the result is, but selection sets can be used to do that. Now, one thing that's super important, and I think we kind of talked about this a little bit this week with Autodesk, just in chatting, this is not a linked object, right? So if you go back and you update this, or let's click this and I actually want to unselect this, right? I'm going to go here and say, well, update that now. So now if we click it, you can see I've removed this top face. In my flow toolpath, however, if we edit this, it is going to still have those 5 faces selected. So it does not make an object called a selection set. It is just gathering whatever group of selection you had and copying it into the item. So use that obviously appropriately. Anything to add, gentlemen?
That's a good tip about how if you update the selection set, it won't update the toolpath. So that's one thing certainly to keep in mind.
I appreciate everybody. Thanks for being here. We will see you next week. Go do something really hard and either succeed or fail. But if you fail or struggle, bring it here, ask us questions, and hopefully we can help you. But all right, guys, till next time, thanks everybody for coming. We will see you next week. Really appreciate it. Until then, stay sharp. Later.
See you guys.
See you guys.
See ya.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you like this video and want to see more, be sure to join me over at the Digital Manufacturing Collective. You can get the DMC app on your iOS or Android device now in the Apple or Google Play Store. I'll see you over there.